fly. Dad! Dad, no! Dad, come back!
Get out!
Oh! Where are you?
Anjo, look at me. Run, go!
Are you okay?
Take two and go. What are you doing?
This might be the end.
The story begins with a student named Jun Soo standing on the school rooftop, surrounded by a group of bullies tormenting him. He tries to defend himself but loses balance and falls off the roof. Later, his father, Mr. Byung, rushes to the hospital to see him. He sneaks into the room without the doctors noticing. When Jun Soo sees his father, he tearfully apologizes and says he wanted to kill his bullies, insisting that his suffering would never end unless he killed them all. Mr. Byung tries to calm him down, assuring him everything will be fine. But Jun-soo grows furious, his eyes turn red, and he suddenly attacks his father. Terrified, Mr. Byung grabs a book and repeatedly hits his son on the head until he dies. Moments later, Mr. Byung is seen in the hospital's garage trying to hide his son's body inside a duffel bag. Suddenly, Jun-soo's hand moves, and when Byung touches it, he realizes his son has turned into a zombie. Horrified, he flees and returns to Hyosan High School, where he works as a biology teacher. Inside the science lab, a student named Hyun is sleeping while her friends leave her behind. When she wakes up, she hears a strange noise and follows it, finding a rat in a cage. She plays with it for a moment until it suddenly bites her. Just then, Mr. Byung walks in. He's the biology teacher. Hyun tells him that the rat bit her and tries to leave, but he stops her and locks her inside the lab. That night, the students gather in a restaurant and gossip about Mr. Byung. They say he went crazy after his son disappeared and that he smells like a rotten corpse. The next morning, we meet a smart girl named An, having breakfast with her father, a firefighter paramedic. He doesn't believe she'll succeed in school and tells her not to stress about studying too much. Then the doorbell rings. It's Cheong, their neighbor, and one of An's closest friends. It's obvious he likes her, but he hides it by teasing her constantly. They go to school together. Meanwhile, Jun, the school bully, and his gang are hanging out near a construction site beside the school with two other students, Yoon and Chol. Jun yells at them for denying that they saw him bully Jun-soo, Mr. Byung's son. To humiliate Yoon, he forces her to take off her clothes and orders Chol to record her. Suddenly, a student named Soo steps in to defend them. Jun mocks him, saying he used to be part of their gang before he quit and now acts self-righteous. Soo ignores the insult, grabs Yoon and Chol, and walks away. But Jun threatens to leak the video if they don't come back, forcing Yoon and Chol to return out of fear. Yoon tells Soo that if she doesn't go back, she'll be publicly shamed. In the first period, Ms. Park, a teacher, asks her class about Hyun's whereabouts, saying she's been missing since yesterday. A student replies that he last saw her in the science lab. Ms. Park then goes to Mr. Byung and asks if he's seen Hyun, but he lies and says no. Suddenly, a strange noise echoes, but Mr. Byung insists it's just a rat. Later, he returns to Hyun and gives her an injection, telling her it's to slow the infection. He insists he doesn't want to kill her and records everything on his laptop. During the next class, Ms. Park is teaching when Hyun suddenly bursts in, collapsing to the floor. Trembling, she tells Ms. Park that the biology teacher locked her up, injected her, and tried to kill her. Ms. Park, along with 3 students, including An, takes Hyun to the school nurse. The nurse notices her body temperature is abnormally low. Suddenly, Hyun tries to bite An, scratching her hand instead. The nurse calls an ambulance, and they rush Hyun to the hospital. Back in the hallway, some students gossip that Hyun smelled like a rotting corpse, just like Mr. Byung. When he returns to the lab and finds Hyun gone, he loses control, panicking. Ms. Park brings him to the principal's office, explaining that Hyun was taken by ambulance and that she called the police. But Mr. Byung insists Hyun must be quarantined. The police arrive and arrest him. At the hospital, the nurse who treated Hyun begins to feel strange. She remembers being bitten during the injection, and moments later, she transforms into a zombie. A student enters, sees her acting weird, and starts filming, but she attacks his friend, biting him. He falls, turns into a zombie too, and the infection spreads rapidly through the students. Chaos erupts. Students bite one another, leaping out of classroom windows as panic overtakes the school. Meanwhile, Yoon, the girl who was bullied, is on the rooftop trying to take her own life. Chul begs her to stop, but suddenly they notice the students below fighting, screaming, and jumping from windows. Elsewhere, in the school cafeteria, An tells Cheong she likes Sue, shocking him since he secretly loves her. Moments later, infected students burst into the cafeteria, chasing everyone. At the same time, the school principal holds a meeting with the teachers, furious because one of the students called the police, reporting zombies at school. He scolds the staff for not confiscating phones, and when the police call, he denies everything, claiming there are no zombies. Ms. Park is outraged by his irresponsibility, telling him they need police support and that no one can control the students. She storms out, only to witness a student biting a teacher in the hallway. Confused and terrified, she runs as the chaos spreads. Back in the cafeteria, Chong fights desperately to protect An from the zombies. Jun, the bully, pushes others aside to save himself, sacrificing anyone who tries to help. Chong grabs An, and together they escape through the cafeteria window, only to find that every corner of the school is now swarming with zombies. They rush inside the school building, but zombies are everywhere. One of the zombies tries to attack Cheong, but An jumps in and saves him. Together, they manage to reach their classroom, where a small group of terrified students are hiding. Suddenly, 2 more students climb in through the window, trembling and confused by the chaos around them. Meanwhile, Mr. Byung is being interrogated at the police station. He's the only one who truly understands what's happening. The detective, Jae, accuses him of killing his son, and Byung admits he reported him as missing to cover up what really happened. At the hospital, the effect of the injection wears off, and Hyun, now a zombie, attacks the doctors and nurses, spreading the infection. Back at school, the students are desperately searching for a phone to call the police. They find one hidden in a student's bag. She hadn't turned it in to the teacher earlier. Cheong dials the police, reporting that there are living dead inside the school. The officer doesn't believe him at first, but then multiple calls flood in from the same school. Soon after, a teacher named Mr. Kang enters their classroom, urging the students to lock the door tightly, but An notices a bite mark on his hand. He denies it nervously, claiming no one bit him. The students panic, moving away and ordering him to leave the room. Suddenly, he begins to show symptoms of infection, lunges at a student, bites her, and she turns into a zombie too. Chaos breaks out as everyone scrambles to escape. They manage to push open the door and flee into another hallway, but more zombies block their path. They run into the science lab for safety. In the rush, An drops the phone, and they quickly lock all doors and windows. An accuses a girl named Na-ah of hiding the phone, but she denies it. Then An realizes that Sue is missing. When she asks Cheong about him, he says Sue was behind them earlier, but he doesn't know where he went. Suddenly, one of An's close friends starts transforming into a zombie. An screams for them to get her out, but An refuses to abandon her friend. The friend attacks Cheong, and he's forced to push her out the window. An tries to hold her hand, crying as she remembers their memories together, but Cheong pries her fingers loose, forcing her to let go. Elsewhere, Jun is still hiding in the school cafeteria. The 2 students he bullied earlier are now on the rooftop, while another group hides in the bathroom, and Sue is hiding alone in the art classroom. Chung decides they must move to the journalism room since staying in the lab will get them killed. He suggests escaping through the window using a fire hose. They tie it tightly and start descending one by one. When they reach the floor below, they find Miss Park there. Everyone climbs down safely, except for An and Cheong. Cheong tells her she has to survive for the sake of the people she loves. She replies that she's lost everyone, her friend and Sue, and doesn't see a reason to live. Cheong reminds her of her father, saying she must live for him. An finally nods and climbs down. As Cheong prepares to follow, the door bursts open and zombies swarm in. He's forced to jump from the window as they chase him. At the same time, Sue tries to escape from the art room, climbing out the window. From there, he sees Cheong struggling below and rushes to help him. An screams, begging them to close the window, afraid the zombies will enter. The others see her as selfish and refuse to listen. One student, Jong, says he won't close the window until Cheong is safely inside, accusing An of only caring about herself. Suddenly, a zombie climbs toward the window trying to get in. Sue fights to stop it but can't do it alone, so Jong helps him, and together they push the creature back. Then On notices blood coming from Jong's nose, a sign of infection. She warns everyone, but they accuse her of lying out of jealousy because she doesn't like him. She insists she saw a bite on his hand, but when Ms. Park checks, it only looks like a scratch. Still, she warns that even a scratch might spread the virus, so she asks Jong to stay alone in the recording room for 5 minutes, just to be sure. Jong agrees, but says he'll stay for an hour to prove he's fine. Meanwhile, at the police station, Mr. Byung finally confesses. He says he created the rage virus to protect his son Jun-soo from bullies, but his experiment went wrong. Jun-soo bit his mother, and she turned into a zombie too. Byung began injecting them with an antidote that could only calm them temporarily. The detective listens in horror until another officer rushes in, reporting that the virus has spread throughout the city. Back at the school cafeteria, Jun is still running from zombies, sacrificing anyone who gets in his way to survive. In the classroom, the students wait for Jung to come out of the recording room. One of them tells him half an hour has passed, but he refuses to leave early. An is told to go in and apologize for doubting him. When she enters, instead of apologizing, she insults him, holding his injured hand and wiping it with a tissue soaked in zombie blood, trying to infect him to prove she was right. Furious, Jung calls her a monster and she snaps back, calling him a pathetic parasite who lives off welfare money, saying he doesn't even deserve to be in their school. The others outside think the two are finally reconciling until they hear Jong screaming inside. When he comes out, he's shaking with rage and tries to attack her. The others separate them, scolding On for her behavior. She insists they wait. Soon they'll see she was right. Moments later, Jong starts transforming. Na-ah screams and tells everyone to get out of the classroom, but Jong says he'll leave himself, insisting he'd never hurt his friends. Then he collapses to the floor and fully transforms, lunging at them. They manage to push him out the window, but the moment leaves them heartbroken. The students cry for Jong, everyone except An, who says, "I told you so." The class president Nam angrily tells her that she caused it, revealing she saw An wipe zombie blood on the window before going into the recording room, and that she must have done the same to infect Jong on purpose. Nam tells everyone that An was the one who infected Jong, that the tissue she wiped on his hand caused him to turn into a zombie. She demands that An hand over the tissue, but An denies having it. Nam gets angry and tries to snatch it by force, and in that moment Ms. Park steps in, telling them this means An killed Jong. Nam insists she saw it with her own eyes. Furious and humiliated, An pulls the tissue from her pocket, throws it in Nam's face, and cries out that she's innocent. She says the blood on it belongs to Jong himself, not a zombie, and that he turned on his own, not because of her. Breaking down, she yells that she's never had real friends, that she doesn't need any, and storms out of the classroom. Ms. Park stands at the door holding back tears, telling the students to take care of themselves, that she doesn't want any more of them to die. Her words touch everyone deeply. The room fills with quiet sobs. Later, An tries to comfort Cheong, who's still grieving over Jong's death, but he snaps at her, telling her she doesn't know how to comfort anyone. She keeps trying, saying she understands his pain because she, too, has lost someone she loved, her best friend. Meanwhile, the rest of the students worry about Ms. Park and An, hoping they haven't turned into zombies. Elsewhere, Jun manages to escape the cafeteria and ends up on the school field. He sneaks into the principal's office, trying to find a way to save himself. The two students he bullied are still trapped on the rooftop while those who hid in the bathroom start arguing out of panic. At the police station, Detective Jae confronts Mr. Byung, furious at what he's done, but Byung feels no remorse. He says he acted as a father, doing it all for his son, who tried to kill himself after relentless bullying. He explains that when he reported it to the school and police, no one helped, so he decided everyone was guilty: the teachers, the students, the system, and they all deserved to die. The detective, enraged, nearly punches him but restrains himself. He accuses Byung of wanting to change the world, yet ending up killing everyone instead. He demands a cure, but Byung says there isn't one. Suddenly, the detective hears strange noises outside. He opens the door and sees that zombies have overrun the station. Mr. Byung laughs bitterly at first, but then terror and guilt consume him. He tries to help the detective fight them off but is bitten. Before turning, he gasps that the cure might be in his laptop hidden in the school's science lab. By morning, the surviving students in the school wake up exhausted. The group hiding in the bathroom decides they can't wait for help. No rescue is coming, and they have to escape on their own. One of them insists on finding her brother first. At the same time, on the rooftop, Yoon and Chul are still alive. Chul tells her that Jun, the bully, set her video to auto-upload online at 9 a.m. He had planned to pay Jun off to stop it, but now everything has collapsed. Yoon bursts into tears, furious that he didn't tell her sooner. Chul explains he wanted to fix it quietly, but the outbreak ruined everything. Devastated, Yoon tries to kill herself again, but Chul begs her not to, saying her death won't stop her mother from seeing the video. Yoon wipes her tears and decides there's only one way. She must find Jun's phone and delete the video before it uploads. She asks Chul to come with her, reminding him he was part of the humiliation. He filmed her that day. He trembles, saying he was forced to do it, and refuses to go. Yoon leaves alone. As she reaches the teacher's office, zombies swarm her, biting her over and over, but she keeps pushing forward. Bleeding and shaking, she smashes through the office door, staggering toward Jun's phone. Meanwhile, the group in the broadcast room decides they need to contact the police again. Cheong says the teacher's office will definitely have phones and volunteers to go. An tries to stop him, terrified of losing another friend. She pretends not to care, but her trembling voice betrays her fear. Chong feels hurt by her coldness. At the last moment, Sue steps forward, saying he'll go with Cheong. An looks at him with worry, but Sue smiles and tells her he'll be fine. When Cheong and Sue reach the teacher's office, they find Yoon inside, already half-transformed, destroying all the phones. As Cheong reaches for one behind her, Yoon turns with wild eyes, shrieking that she'll kill him, and lunges. Sue pushes her away, saving Cheong, and the two escape, Sue through the window, Cheong through the door. In the principal's office, Jun kills all the zombies around him. The principal, who had been hiding, crawls out and begs Jun to bring his car keys and drive the vehicle back for him. Jun refuses, brandishing a knife, threatening to kill him instead. Moments later, Cheong bursts into the principal's office, holding a phone he recovered. He freezes at the sight, Jun standing over the principal's dead body, knife in hand. The principal, bleeding out, begs Cheong for help, but Jun insists he acted in self-defense, claiming the principal tried to kill him. Cheong pulls out the phone, warning Jun that he'll record everything and expose him, demanding that, for once, he do the right thing. But Jun smirks, stabs the principal again, and turns the knife toward Cheong. He attacks, but Cheong manages to fight back, grabbing the phone and escaping. Jun chases him through the halls, swinging the knife, nearly stabbing him in the back. Sue eventually reaches the broadcast room without Cheong and without a phone. Everyone panics. Sue apologizes, assuring them he's fine and that Cheong will return soon. Meanwhile, Cheong keeps running for his life. Jun is relentless, obsessed with killing him. Cheong bursts into the library, hiding between shelves, but Jun follows, demanding the phone. Cheong refuses to hand it over, calling him a failure and saying he'll never trust someone who murdered his own teacher. Cornered, Jun snarls and throws himself at the zombies, letting one bite him to gain its strength. As his eyes go red, he tells Cheong to beg for mercy if he wants to live. Cheong grabs a heavy object and smashes the phone into Jun's eye, blinding him. Jun collapses, screaming as the zombies swarm him. He begs Cheong to help, but Cheong turns away, escaping as Jun's screams fade. Before dying, Jun spits out a final threat. "I'll kill you, even if I come back." Cheong hides in the ventilation shafts, exhausted and trembling. He tries to call emergency services, but the cell network is dead. Realizing all his effort was for nothing, he breaks down, crying quietly in the dark. At the same time, the students who escaped the bathroom finally reach the nurse's office. They try to turn on the computer, hoping to find a way, any way, to reach the outside world. Suddenly, the internet cuts out. They try the landline, but there's no signal there either. Frustrated, they realize the government has severed their phone and internet networks. One girl suggests they head to the archery hall. There's a direct emergency line there that will call help even without a network, and they can grab arrows because their supply is nearly gone. The students agree. It becomes Plan B. Gon is crying, convinced Cheong has turned into a zombie. Sue tries to calm her, promising he can outrun them because he's fast, and Gon suggests they go to the science lab to search for Cheong using the little plane they built in class. Most students are terrified. They warn the lab is full of zombies, but Gon insists the equipment room should be safe. Nam points out they'll need the plane both to find Chiang and to see what's happening outside. Gon volunteers to go. A student named Jun Young says he'll go with her because the plane needs spare parts Gon can't fetch alone. Sue wants to go instead, but Gon tells him he already went to the teacher's office and that he shouldn't keep risking himself. Gon and Jun Young head to the lab while, at the same time, the detective is still trying to reach the emergency center to report what Mr. Byung said about the laptop in the science lab. Meanwhile, Chiang struggles to crawl out of the ventilation shafts. Thinking of Gon, he weeps, then steels himself and manages to climb out into the art classroom. Gon and Jun Young return with the little plane and bring it back to the journalism room. Jun Young powers it up and searches every classroom for Chiang, only to find that many students have already turned into zombies. Suddenly, they spot Chiang in the art room, but the plane's battery is nearly dead. They decide to scout outside. Outside, the scene is worse than they feared. The whole town has turned, and the zombies are everywhere. One student, Ji, sees her father among them and screams. As the plane gets closer, she realizes he's a zombie. At that moment, Jun wakes up in the library and notices the zombies don't approach him. He realizes he's become a zombie too, but still retains human awareness. He remembers what Chiang did to him and vows revenge, strangely elated that he can walk among zombies untouched, like he's in paradise. Yoon also becomes a conscious zombie, and the group that had been hiding in the bathroom is making its way toward the archery hall. Jun, meanwhile, grabs his knife, intent on killing Chiang. Naha hides inside the art room equipment closet and sees Chiang, but keeps herself concealed. Back in the broadcast room, Ji attempts to kill herself. They pull her back and she sobs, begging them to leave her alone. She tells Gon that everyone she loves is dead and that she's alone and wants to die. Gon comforts her, revealing that she too has no mother and that her father always treated her like she wouldn't amount to anything. He told her not to struggle with school because she'd never enter a good university. That hurt her deeply because she had dreamed of studying at a good university. Ji says her father promised he would be the first to come if she were in danger, but he never arrived. She weeps, then says at least she still has hope her father might save her. Now she has nowhere to go. Gon interrupts angrily, telling her friend is dead and Jong is dead too. She cannot bear to lose anyone else. Gon begs Ji not to kill herself. Trembling, Ji says she feels trapped and tries to walk away. She accidentally presses the microphone. Nam walks in with an idea, a plan that could get them out. Nam draws a map of the school, marks their location and where Chiang is, and explains that zombies are drawn to sound. Their plan: turn on the loudspeakers in the north part of the school to lure the horde away, then send a team through the south side to reach Chiang and climb to the roof via the middle stairwell. Everyone likes the plan. Nam adds that helicopters fly over regularly. If they can make a big enough signal fire on the roof, the choppers might spot them and rescue them. The students begin to put the plan into action. They contact Chiang over the school PA and tell him to stay put because they're coming. Chiang is skeptical at first. An urges him to trust them. He's never listened before and asks him to follow orders just this once. Meanwhile, Jun is delighted to have located them. He decides to go to the broadcast room first. They start playing music from the northern speakers, and nearly all the zombies converge on the sound, except for one. The team seizes the chance to move. Jun reaches the broadcast room but finds it empty. Jun overhears their plan and follows their trail. He finds Sue, saving him from a pack of zombies, but when Sue thanks him, Jun coldly demands to know where Chiang is. Sue refuses to tell him, and Jun immediately tries to kill him. Nam steps in to defend Sue, but Jun bites her. Sue throws Jun out the window, grabs Nam, and the group continues their plan. They finally reach Cheong, who rushes to make sure An is safe. But when everyone sees the bite mark on Nam's hand, they panic and back away from her. Meanwhile, An's father, Sue's dad, is trapped in the government quarantine zone around the city. He begs to be released to look for his daughter, but the soldiers refuse, telling him the lockdown will last a full month. He tries to escape, desperate to reach her. Back in the art room, Sue defends Nam, insisting that Jun the bully bit her, not a zombie. But Cheong insists Jun is a zombie. He saw it with his own eyes. Sue argues he must be mistaken. Then they all hear the zombies pounding at the door, trying to get in. Nam stands up and asks Cheong if he's sure Jun is really a zombie. When he confirms, she thanks Sue for believing in her and says she'll leave the group so no one else is endangered. Sue grabs her, refusing to let her go, vowing she won't turn. Chong insists she might change at any moment, so Sue takes her to the window and promises to throw her out if she turns, before she can attack anyone. Hidden nearby, Naha hears everything from the equipment room, where she's secretly been hiding with food. Tension rises between Sue and Chiang. They argue over whether Nam should stay. Nam climbs onto the window ledge, telling Sue to do it if she turns. An tries to calm Chiang, but he yells that she always sides with Sue, accusing her of doing it because she loves him. An falls silent, hurt, and unable to reply. Suddenly, Nam starts twitching, appearing to transform. She lunges towards Sue, but Chong moves to protect him, only for Sue to shove him away. They scuffle until An yells at them to stop, insisting Nam hasn't turned. She points out there's no blood on Nam's mouth, proof she hasn't bitten anyone. Chiang lowers his guard. An runs to Nam, who looks dazed, asking why she defended them if she didn't even like them. Nam whispers that she's not fine, admitting she did feel an urge to bite Sue. She says she can't stay and must leave. An refuses, arguing that June might have been immune, so Nam could be too. Ji objects angrily, saying Nam isn't normal and tried to bite Sue. They can't risk keeping her. An keeps defending her, saying zombies have low body temperature, but Nam's temperature is normal. Sue takes a strip of cloth and ties his wrist to Nam's, proving he trusts her. He asks Ji and the others to continue with the plan and reach the roof. At the same time, the students from the bathroom group finally make it to the archery hall, while June, regaining partial awareness, starts tracking Chiang again. In the art room, the group sits silently. They're hungry, dehydrated, and worried about Nam's condition, half human, half zombie. One complains they haven't had water in 2 days, and they'll die in 3 without it. Naha, who still has food hidden in her closet, listens quietly but doesn't reveal herself. When she finally decides to come out, she overhears them talking about her, saying Nam is better than her, even though Nam's half zombie. They call Naha the reason Jong and Ms. Park died, and that she belongs to a different class than humans. Their words break her. The students realize the food supplies are missing and assume they must be in the equipment room. They try to open the door, but it's locked from the inside. They attempt to break it down, but the noise draws zombies, forcing them to stop. Later, Ji finds a video camera and starts recording a message to her parents, telling them she loves them. The others, moved by the idea, each record their own messages too. Meanwhile, Detective J encounters a baby and a young girl hiding in a restaurant. He rescues them, then passes by an influencer live streaming the zombies, trying to prove they're fake. Elsewhere, An's father Sue manages to escape quarantine, but he's injured while heading toward the school. Back in the art room, Nam thanks Sue for trusting her and admits she likes him. Sue blushes, telling her he likes her too. But then Nam begins twitching violently, the virus fighting for control inside her. She almost bites Sue, but stops herself, trembling, still conscious. At that same moment, Yoon reaches the nurse's office, starving. She hears a sound, her teacher, terrified, hiding in the corner. She tries to calm him, saying she's not a zombie, then walks to the fish tank and begins eating the fish raw. The teacher watches in horror. Yoon remembers all the times he ignored her bullies, how he never defended her. Enraged, she lunges when he hits her over the head, biting him, turning him into a zombie. Nam, whose hearing has become superhuman since her infection, hears the teacher's scream and tells the others. But no one else hears it. Her new zombie senses are sharpening. Realizing the classroom is no longer safe, Nam urges the others to head for the roof. They start preparing while Jun, elsewhere, finds a former friend hiding under a car. With cold fury, he drags the terrified boy out and throws him to the zombies. Back in the art room, An unties the cloth binding Sue and Nam's wrists, telling Nam she trusts her. The group finally begins their new plan, to draw the zombies toward one side of the school using music and make their escape to the roof. The students' plan works. They build a barrier between themselves and the zombies, and after a tense struggle, finally reach the rooftop. But when they arrive, they're shocked to find the door locked. Inside, Chul hears them knocking, but he chooses not to open it. At the same time, inside the government quarantine zone, a high-ranking politician who had been rescued by Sue, An's father, is now under protection. She orders the special forces to send a helicopter to the school to save the remaining students. When the helicopter arrives, they find Chol. They ask if there are other survivors, but he lies, saying he's the only one left. Memories of Yoon flood back, how no one ever helped her, how everyone ignored their suffering, and guilt twists into bitterness. He refuses to mention the others. Meanwhile, Jun discovers the location of Cheong and Soo, climbs up to them and stares at them with a crooked smile. But Nam stands in front of Cheong and Soo, protecting them. Because Jun once bit her, she now shares his strength, half human, half zombie. Elsewhere, Yoon walks across the deserted school field, watching every bully who once tormented her now staggering as zombies. She smiles, for the first time at peace, but her vengeance isn't over. She decides to fulfill her dream, to burn down the school and watch it all disappear. She starts in the teacher's office, setting fire to the books and standing before the flames, smiling as the fire consumes everything. Then she grabs a bicycle and pedals out of the gates. The fire alarm blares, automatically unlocking every door in the building. The rooftop door bursts open. The trapped students rush out at last. But for Jun, it's too late. He tries to follow but can't pry the door open and instead heads down to the schoolyard, consumed by rage. On the rooftop, Cheong and Soo talk in disbelief, wondering why Jun doesn't die. They realize he has a kind of superhuman endurance like Yoon and Nam. The students gather scrap wood and form a distress signal, hoping the helicopter will spot them. After many failed attempts to light it, Nam flicks a spark from her forehead wound, igniting the fire. Far away, Detective J escapes the zombie swarm in a bus with his assistant, the 2 children he rescued, and the arrogant influencer still filming everything. Suddenly, their bus hits something, Yoon. When Jay gets out to check, she appears completely normal. He invites her to come with them, but before they can leave, special forces surround the bus. Jay shows his badge, explaining what Professor Byung told him, that the cure or the key to the virus is inside a laptop in the school lab. Hearing this, the soldiers decide to escort them safely back to quarantine. Back at the school, Na-ah sits alone in the equipment room, haunted by visions of Jong, blaming her for what happened. She remembers Ms. Park's sacrifice, how she stayed behind to save her. Na-ah breaks down in tears, takes some food, and heads toward the rooftop to join the others. On her way, she finds the students' video messages, recordings to their families, but fate is cruel. Jun appears, saying he's hungry, and bites her neck. That night, the surviving students gather around their fire on the rooftop, exhausted and silent. Each speaks about their life, their regrets, their loneliness. Nam admits she never had friends. She was always quiet, always studying out of fear of her mother. She asks everyone to recreate this moment someday when they're free. Then Cheong confesses he's loved On since he was 6 years old. He hid it because he didn't want to lose her as a friend. That's why he always argued with her. Stunned, On leaves the circle. Soo tells Cheong to go after her. Chong finds her by the edge of the roof, but On refuses to speak. At that moment, Jun climbs up through the pipes. He attacks On, but Chong throws himself between them. Jun, still vengeful over his blinded eye, slams Cheong to the ground and tries to gouge out his eye. Soo jumps in to protect Cheong, but Jun easily overpowers him, his strength now monstrous. Suddenly, Nam fully transforms, lunging at Jun. He tells her they're the same kind, that she belongs with him, but Nam, fighting her instincts, turns against him, shoving him off the roof. Jun falls and still doesn't die. Then the helicopter arrives, and the students burst into tears of relief. The soldiers scan their body temperatures. Nam's is dangerously low, and she panics, fearing they'll recognize she's infected. Luckily, they assume it's just hypothermia, wrap her in a blanket, and leave her behind while they proceed to recover the laptop. In the quarantine camp, Chul sees Yoon again. He runs to her, crying with joy, but she looks at him coldly, remembering how he abandoned her when she went alone to retrieve the phone. She lunges, biting him, and they both turn into zombies. The special forces realize the virus has mutated. They can no longer tell the difference between healthy and infected humans. Back at the school rooftop, the soldiers finally find the laptop and begin loading the students into the helicopter. Just as hope flickers back, a radio call comes from command, reporting what happened in quarantine. The new order: no survivors leave alive. The lead officer lowers his weapon, trembling, refusing to execute the children. He apologizes softly, telling them to stay strong, then walks away as the chopper lifts off without them. Meanwhile, Soo, On's father, is still on the road to the school. Hearing footsteps behind him, he spins around, gun raised. It's a man, terrified, begging for help. His wife is giving birth. Sue tries to assist but doesn't know how. He hands the man the gun, telling him to protect them both. But the man panics, turns the gun back on Sue, shouting for him to help. His hands shake. He bursts into tears, unable to pull the trigger. Finally, he lowers the weapon, and Sue continues down the long, empty road toward his daughter's school. At the same time, the special forces return to their base and begin reviewing the school's security camera footage, the only silent witnesses left to tell what really happened inside Hyosan High. The special forces soon realize that Yoon possesses incredible strength, strong enough to overpower trained soldiers. They lock her in a room beside a fully infected zombie to conduct experiments, hoping to understand how she retains human awareness. Meanwhile, the students remain trapped on the school rooftop. Suddenly, thunder rumbles across the sky and heavy rain begins to pour. They cheer and drink the rainwater, desperate after 2 days without a drop. As the storm intensifies, Cheong gets an idea: to use the sound of rain and thunder to mask their movements. They'll sneak down through the tennis court beside the school and escape into the forest beyond. They gather their courage and descend the building, clutching makeshift weapons, hearts pounding. But halfway down, Cheong freezes. He spots his mother, now a zombie. In tears, he realizes she must have come to the school looking for him after hearing the news on TV. On her way, she'd met Jong, mistaking him for a survivor, but he'd attacked and bitten her. Cheong collapses, sobbing uncontrollably, while only On and Sue understand the reason for his grief. Suddenly, Cheong's mother lunges at them. One terrified student strikes her down with a blunt weapon. Cheong screams in agony, shouting that she's his mother. As the horde closes in, On and Sue drag Cheong away, forcing him to run. Behind them, a girl falls. Zombies swarm her as she cries for help, begging Ji to save her, but Ji flees in panic. Another boy, Wan, tries to help but is dragged down too. Elsewhere, the archery team students decide to follow the same plan, use the storm as cover, escape toward the forest through the tennis courts. The two groups meet midway. One of the archery girls, Ha, finally spots her younger brother, the one she's been searching for, and saves him from a zombie attack. Meanwhile, Ji ends up alone, trembling, unsure what to do. She's surrounded, bitten, and dragged away, screaming. The survivors reach the basketball hall, trying to cut through to the tennis court, but the entire gym is filled with zombies. They sprint for cover, barricading themselves inside the equipment room. On tries to comfort Cheong over his mother's death. He breaks down and hugs her tightly, crying into her shoulder. At the same time, the special forces lose control of the situation. The virus is mutating rapidly. When they finally open Professor Byung's laptop, they find his video logs documenting his wife and son's infection. His research concludes there is no cure. The only way to stop the virus is to eliminate the carrier. The recordings warn that within a week, the virus will reach the capital, Seoul. Horrified, the security chief decides the only way to contain it is to burn Hyosan City completely. Meanwhile, Sue, On's father, travels through the forest, marking trees along the way so he can find his path back. In the school, the students sit in the equipment room planning their next move. Their new plan is simple but risky. They'll surround themselves with rolling basketball carts, moving together as a group until they reach the exit to the tennis court. When they begin, it fails at first. There are too many zombies, and the carts jam. One student gets bitten on the hand. Knowing he's doomed, he sacrifices himself, running out to distract the zombies, giving the others a chance to move. The rest push forward and finally reach the gate, only to find it locked and chained from the outside. They lose hope. Then, suddenly, the door swings open, and standing there is Sue, On's father. On bursts into tears and runs to hug him, crying and scolding him for taking so long. Sue gently explains his escape plan, a route through the forest, and leads them toward safety. But before they can move, zombies break through the fence and flood the court. Sue realizes there's only one way. He'll sacrifice himself to protect them. He lights fireworks, drawing the zombies away while shouting for the others to run. On refuses to leave him, screaming as Cheong and Sue drag her by force. When she escapes their grip and turns back, she sees her father bitten. He locks the gate behind him, telling her to keep going before the zombies overwhelm him. The students reach a half-constructed building nearby, but inside they find all the workers and engineers have already turned. They race upward, climbing the unstable scaffolding, and finally settle on wooden planks suspended high above the ground. Nam, whose infection is growing stronger, begins to lose control again. She trembles violently, trying not to attack Sue, and instead bites her own hand to resist the hunger. Sue stops her, telling her he doesn't care if she bites him. He trusts her. He gently blindfolds her, so the others won't fear her red eyes. Suddenly, Nam hears the helicopters overhead. Her enhanced hearing picks up the soldiers' broadcast, ordering all citizens to evacuate immediately as Hyosan is about to be bombed. She warns the group the military is going to blow up the entire city. Moments later, Jun the bully reappears, still alive, furious, and monstrous. He attacks Chiang and bites him before Chiang manages to throw him off the scaffolding. Bleeding, Chiang tells On goodbye as she sobs, begging him not to go. He insists they must continue the plan and drops down, luring the zombies away so the others can escape. His sacrifice works. The zombies chase him, falling through the unfinished elevator shaft, buying the others precious time. But Jun somehow climbs back, cornering Cheong again. This time, Jun finally gets what he wanted. He sinks his teeth into Cheong's neck, completing his revenge as the sound of approaching helicopters drowns out Cheong's final scream. Jun tears Cheong's eye out, just as Cheong once did to him. Moments later, the military helicopters begin coordinating their attack. They lure the zombies into clustered zones, then fire a barrage of missiles. One of the targets is Hyosan High School itself. The entire building, where Cheong and Jun are still fighting, erupts in a massive explosion. As Jun tries to crawl away, Cheong grabs him, holding him tightly so that they die together. At the same time, the head of the special forces appears on national television, apologizing to the public. His voice trembles as he admits that he ordered the bombing because there was no cure. Destroying the city was the only way to stop the virus. As he speaks, he recalls the last video found on Professor Byung's laptop, showing the professor trying to burn his infected wife and son, but unable to bring himself to do it. Haunted by guilt, the commander returns to his office, calls his wife one last time to tell her he loves her, and quietly says goodbye, burdened by the weight of countless deaths caused under his command. Meanwhile, On decides she must go back to the ruins of the school to look for Cheong. Nam stops her, saying she can't smell Cheong's scent anymore, that he's gone. On breaks down, and Nam leads her and the surviving students into the forest. Eventually, they make it to the outskirts of the city, thinking the nightmare is over, until a massive horde of zombies suddenly charges at them. They try to flee, but quickly realize escape is impossible. They form a line, choosing to fight back. In the chaos, On's younger brother is bitten and turns, forcing Nam to kill him to save the others. But Nam herself begins to lose control, her hybrid condition worsening. Overwhelmed by hunger and pain, she retreats, hurting herself to avoid biting anyone. Sue notices she's missing and goes with On to find her. They discover Nam crouched over a corpse, eating in agony. On pleads with her to come back, saying they can't lose anyone else. Nam, trembling, tries to resist but suddenly lunges to bite On. Sue steps between them, ready to strike Nam to protect his daughter, but he can't do it. Nam regains control at the last moment, screams in despair and runs away, knowing she's become a danger to everyone. The rest of the students finally reach the Special Forces checkpoint. After testing them and confirming they're not infected, the soldiers take them into quarantine. The officers question them about Professor Byung, while another squad searches his house, finding his wife and son, Jun Soo, still alive but restrained. 4 months later, the government announces that no one will be released from quarantine until a cure is found. That night, On secretly escapes, sneaking into the forest to leave food, hoping Cheong and Nam might still be alive. As she sets down the basket, she sees a faint fire glowing on the rooftop of the ruined school. Her heart races. She's certain it's Nam, because she once promised they'd all sit around the fire together again. The next day, On tells Sue what she saw and begs him not to tell the authorities. Together, they decide to return to the school alone, but when night falls, they find all their friends waiting, saying they couldn't let her go without them. When they reach the rooftop, it's empty at first, until Nam appears from the shadows, smiling faintly. "You found me," she says. On begs her to come back with them, but Nam refuses, whispering, "Half of me is still a zombie." Then she tilts her head, hearing something in the distance with her sharpened hearing. "I'll come back," she promises softly, then leaps gracefully off the rooftop into the darkness below. The students stare, speechless, as the camera pans up to the cold, burned sky. And with that, Season 1 ends in here.